Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is it's been a while since I made a video. I'm doing now. Um, and this is my face. So you guys can kind of put a face to the garden, I guess. I don't know. Not really big on that whole thing, but figured we'd start out a little different since it's been like 2 weeks since I've recorded. So I figured I'd start a video out a little different. We're just gonna go through because I've been a little busy. I did some stuff off camera, naturally. Can't do everything on camera. But we're gonna find a way to do that eventually. I don't know. I'll get like a GoPro camera or something. Neither here nor there. But anyway, we'll go ahead on and continue. And the garden, as you can see, there's a lot. I've already changed. Actually, hang on. We're going through. This is the actual front entrance of the garden. I barely use it. You know, I start off already on the inside. But anyway, some things I have neglected. I was actually in recovery from massive dehydration. It was severe dehydration. It was pretty rough. So definitely pay attention to your hydration levels, because this sun ain't playing no games, and this heat ain't playing no games neither. If you want to, FAAO, as they say, be my guest. I don't recommend it. Anyway, we're going over here to the corn. I got lucky. One of my potatoes started. I might, there's a couple. I put those that chitted in there, chitted potatoes, but it looks like I only got 2 growing right now. Anyway, the big thing I wanted to show was down here. As you can see, we gave this corn our homemade fertilizer, right? Which is off in the distance over there. But you can already kind of tell, because I'm going to show you the old corn that's still going. This will be in the next few weeks, but you can see how much better this is growing. The stalks are thicker, which is a good sign, which means you're going to have bigger, my hypothesis, you'll have bigger, thicker ears of corn because the stem can support it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what's going on. I did this block. So I'm going to repeat this process over there in a different part of the garden. I think I'll be able to fit that in. I also have to feed the plants that I have left, and I have to start new ones. These are peppers. They were all covered in grass. I took the grass and I used it as mulch. You can do that. I mean, you might get more problems with grass, but it's a good mulch too. So I don't have a lot of mulch. My problem is I don't have enough mulch, and I think that's starting to show itself in the area where my strawberries are. My strawberries are drying out. It's been an active war with strawberries off and on. I accidentally uprooted this guy. He's not doing too great. But the other 2 are doing okay. Those are extra guys anyway. So, and that basil should be ready to go. There's other stuff I gotta water and take care of. We'll figure that out today. I've been trying to take as much unused soil as I can, putting it in here. So I'm going to be using it. I don't know if you guys remember the tomato plants here, which these guys are tough and they do love the heat. So, but I had to contain this vine here. I say contain because it's still an active process. But anyway, this is a morning glory. It should be blooming sometime soon, probably in August. And also these are all my plants that got taken over, so I had to cut everything back. Figure out something as far as getting things back on track. Yeah, you can tell where I cut some of them. It didn't like that I did, but you know, it'll be all right. It's only for show anyway. So moving on. Oop. We've got cantaloupe, so that's one. A lot of cantaloupe. I need to hit these guys with some water. They were drooping pretty bad. Obviously, they all fell off my stakes. I don't even know if I should try and put them back up. I'm not sure, but we have tomatoes. Tomatoes are around. It's definitely time to feed them though, because they're not going to stop growing. I don't want them to stop growing. Yeah, we got tomatoes. So we're going to have tomatoes. That is a weed. Okay, we're going to see if we can make it back there. I need to get one of my digging utensils. Okay, this corn here, this was prior. And as you can see, I've been giving this some fertilizer as well. But the process has just been a little different. You know, as you can see, you know, it's probably a thing with soil too, because this area wasn't necessarily the best starting off. It's there's just a lot of nutrients you had to add in this block. But as you can see, I did the 2 rows side by side, which, you know, okay, but not the best. It seems like I did a square foot method, just a little bigger. And that seemed to give them enough room to function. But as you can see down here, the stems are a little thinner, and I feel like the ears of corn won't be as big. But we'll find out. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks. If I haven't told you already, corn grows very fast. On the back end, this is the back end here. And see, as you can see, they want to produce, but it's like, you know, oh, and on top of the, actually, this one here is a good example. This is a thick stalk here, and these ears, look at this. That's my hand. I have very big hands. So this is a good one here. But you can see how thick it is as it started, but there's not too many that are like that in this patch. So that's okay. We learned from the experience. So the only thing that means is that the next few blocks we plant, because we still have time to do some corn, so the next few blocks we plant should be more successful. That is my opinion. Also, we got mosquitoes. I don't know if you heard that. Me having to slaughter one. I'm not a big fan of mosquitoes. I feel like they all should be eaten up somehow. Anyway, yeah, yellow squash right there. So we got to make sure everything gets fed like it's supposed to. We're gonna see if we can plant some stuff in this patch here. That's what we're gonna try and do today. Another tomato plant. And my tomato plants are just, they're just growing wild. But I'm not mad because, they're producing. So I'm not mad. I want to give them as much control or as much room as they need to grow. I might not put anything else in here. This guy, look. These guys are what's getting my collards. The ones that don't have anything necessarily, they're not near any basil or anything like that. I think it's interesting that the other two are, less likely messed with because I have basil like all around it. I do have some garlic that made it. I wish I had more zucchini. I had one. I didn't take a picture of it. I should have. It was pretty decent size. My hands are big. So the next time I put something to scale against my hand, that's just me saying it's pretty big because my hands are pretty big. So anyway, my banana trees are huge. Hopefully we'll get some bananas. We got surprise watermelon vines. I did not plant these here. My week or 2 weeks I was out trying to recover, some things really did take a hit, which is, it's frustrating. It sucks. But it only really sucks if you don't, get back in there and just get back in there. You know what I mean? You're going to lose some stuff. It's okay. In the event of what's going on in today's world, a little bit of casualty is less likely a issue in the short case. In the long run, it may not even matter. Sorry, I started pulling weeds and now it's like I can't stop. So you'll see me doing this every once in a while. Like, yeah, a lot of things decided to come up. I have so many watermelon vines. Didn't plant this either. That wanted to grow on its own. Another cantaloupe vine, more cantaloupe vines. I mean, they're everywhere. It's definitely distinctly to say that cantaloupe and watermelon are definitely going to be mass staples in this garden this year. Red burgundy is finally growing up, getting bigger. It's good to know. It's so thick in here. I had this separated. It was an alleyway a long time ago. If you want to use an old video I have in reference, if anybody look back on the older videos that I have recorded, you'll see just how wild transformation go. You take your eyes off of something and it can just, you don't even recognize what you got when you first come out here. But nevertheless, there are some cantaloupes I gotta put some protective netting on, protect them from the ground. Basil is still going okay. Look at it, it's huge now, these guys. I gotta figure out something else with kale, because kale does not seem to want to grow in the areas I'm putting it in, so I got to figure out something else. Also, what is this? Is my horseradish root. They say it grows like weed. I believe it does because it's still remotely doing good. I'm not sure when I should harvest it, but I'm not really worried. You can eat the greens, but I'm not really worried about the greens. Look at this. This is also an issue. So if you got snails, which we do, you can make a snail trap, which I'll probably get started because they're gonna, they eat your leaves and that causes problems with them trying to get proper nutrients from the sun, photosynthesis. Say that word right. My Swiss chard is kind of stunted because of the heat. What else I got going on here? More okra. I do have a lot of okra. It's not, I've learned since okra is not for me. As you can see, it took, obviously, it took some hits, but it's still virtually okay, virtually untouched. This one too, virtually okay, virtually untouched. So I have no reason to not believe that this basil is helping me keep these pests under control. This is supposed to be lime cinnamon basil. I don't know which one yet. We don't want that to blossom, so we'll pick that off. I think this is lime basil. I have cinnamon too. I don't know if there's any that made it. But one drink I know I can enjoy is basil tea. That's definitely something I recommend to enjoy over the summer. It is so good. I'll probably, ow, God, another mosquito. Guys, watch out for the mosquitoes. Yeah, I'll put that up in the video. Just keep in mind, mosquitoes tearing me up. In midday too, man. How rude can you get? Just want to go out here and garden for a little bit, and I start getting bit up. But at the same time, I can't be too upset because I know I got that good blood too. It's like, they'll come out of hiding anywhere just to get a piece. It makes you would feel nice about that, but not really. Any other day you feel nice about being a snack. But when it comes to mosquitoes thinking you're a snack, it's not great. Anyway, enough about me. Another cantaloupe here, decent size. There's another. I know there's a watermelon here somewhere. Now look, this little guy here. You see that? Look at that. I'm a little worried because he's a little beat up. I don't know necessarily how to leave him. I'm just gonna leave him like that. Hope for the best, but he's like already 2 times bigger than the last time I seen him. I don't know if you can see in there, my rosemary bush took a hit. Very, very sad. Basil is doing okay though. I'm already sweating. Yeah, here's another watermelon right there. I already took off the other one I kept my eye on last week, the last series of episodes. Here, everything's dried out, so I gotta work my way back, watering this, keeping that filled, watered. On the bright side, the peppers are doing okay. They're growing a lot bigger. I just got to keep them fed. Watermelon vines doesn't seem to be too much of an issue with things. See, as we have here, more peppers, and they're growing on top of it. So what I want to do is just kind of pull it off a little bit. Kind of be like, hey, don't pull on him, Kind of like when you gotta tell your kids to stop doing whatever they're doing. Stop that. Don't do that. Let's see. Another pepper here. They're doing pretty good shape. So, my motto is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We just want to keep things moderately okay. Enough to where it's somewhat harmonizing. But everything's got to get fed in here today. But I'm just glad things are still somewhat on track, somewhat growing. I got to plant some onions today. Onion bottom, top. There's another, I don't know if you guys can see through there, cantaloupe. You can see that is another cantaloupe, decent sized cantaloupe right there. I believe some of these, there's a guy that gave me some seeds a long time ago. And they're called the Pecos Valley cantaloupes. I got lucky. Guy gave me some seeds. I've been working on trying to grow them since last season. This season seems to definitely be the season for them. So I don't know if anybody knows about Pecos Valley cantaloupe. Apparently that's one of the best local type of cantaloupes to have or to grow, or that to try. So we'll see. We got plenty. I know I did another type of cantaloupe too. Oh, look, here we go. Look at this one. Look at this. Again, hand to scale, guys. Hand to scale. Look at this. It's almost as big as my hand. This is huge. This is huge. And I just saw this a couple of days ago, and it's heavy. Look at this. You can see where it's been on the ground. I don't even know if I should keep letting it grow. It might get bigger. But I want to put a net on it, so that's what I'm going to do. I got tomato plants, other tomato plants in here. This whole bed is, I got to figure out what to do. I'm not going to lie. I had a plan, and then I took a couple of days to recover from the heat. A couple of days, I'm lying. I took a week to recover from the heat, and this is what you got. It'll overtake and whatever. I have some zinnias, sunflowers that I planted up here. They just started, which is, some of them look very nice, traditional. All my chocolate cherry and sunburst, red colored, I think they're done. I gotta chop those heads, take those heads off. This traditional one's still up here. It still looks good. Yeah, look at that, man. That's huge. I just saw this a couple days ago. It's huge, man. It's almost the size of a basketball. I don't even know if cantaloupes are supposed to get that big. I don't know. I'm not bugging too much. If it can get bigger, why not? My cucumbers are not doing great. I need to get more. They still want to produce, but how good is that going to be? So I need and that also brings me back to the idea of when I saw these, they were premature. I thought they were a different type, but they were just premature. They didn't have enough nutrients. So that's how they ended up turning out. I could probably take those and plant them somewhere else. Hopefully they won't carry any other. I got mosquitoes in my face. I might not even be out here that long. I feel like I probably should have wore a long sleeve. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, more Pecos Valley cantaloupes. I know I have some original cantaloupes in here, like regular cantaloupes, but I'm thinking, I don't know if they crossbred or if they're going to crossbreed. They probably will. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell the local from like the seeds that I bought. I did pick some tomatoes earlier, but tomato plants still want to do their thing. So also I did pick off some corn. I picked off some corn from these ears here. They dried out. So what I'm going to do is turn around, replant them. And that method is called succession planting. You just immediately, you harvest, replant, harvest, replant, harvest, replant as much as you can, so you can get as much of a yield as you can, because you're not just going to get a big yield from one thing you plant. You got to do it multiple times. So people will be like, oh, I tried. You tried once, try more. You don't just get it one good time. Anyway, there's another cantaloupe in there. It's a little smaller, but it's in there chilling. My watermelon vines over there did take a hit. The little mechanism I was going to use to keep things watered slowly did not work. So everything's super malnourished. Let's get that back on track. What else? There's, again, watermelon vines have taken over. They have taken over. I'm not fighting them. I'm just going to let them do their thing. Cantaloupe had taken over. I'm getting more. So soon, I'll be able to gather some tomatoes. I think these are sun gold, if I'm correct. In here, I can't really see much. I'll probably have to take a look deeper down. I don't know what I'm going to do on this side. There's a lot of things. I am sad that took some hits, to be honest, but I hope I can get some stuff revived, and did not plan for my blackberry bush to take such a bad hit, but it did. I chopped down these guys since they were kind of done, chopped them down, so there'll be more sun hitting this area here. But one thing I do want to do is just go through and pull up some of these weeds. Oh, there we go. And I don't want to pull up any vines. They're so thick. Kind of try to remove whatever I can. You know, sometimes you just gotta let your garden grow a little wild anyway. I know a lot of people don't like their garden getting unruly. I like to experiment, so I'm not against it. But if it does, you know, I'll do the best to see how I can maintain it. Because I don't want to say tame. It's not really taming anything. You're just maintaining. So yeah, here's another one here. Another cantaloupe right there. There's another one right there. I don't know how good that one's going to be, but they're popping up. So we do got a lot of cantaloupes. I'm not sure if cantaloupes and watermelon crossbreed. If they do, because I know they're relatively in the same family. All these romaine lettuce are pretty much done. So I can probably pluck that off. You know, my tomatoes still want to do what they want to do. Let's see if I can figure something out. I don't know. Yeah, but this corn's pretty much getting done. It's pretty much on its last legs. So I'll figure out what I can put here. I might just chop it up a little bit. And I don't know, call it a day. Oh, see, yeah. So anyway, another thing to my point, this is the first block that I did. And this stem is somewhat thin. In my opinion, it's thin. It's not as thick as the other ones. And I didn't get big ears of corn over here. They were decent size, but they weren't that big. You know what I mean? They grew okay. But again, it wasn't the size I was hoping for. So I definitely feel like the next block and the block I'm about to do are gonna be probably the best, the biggest. So I'm hoping I can do 2 more blocks, 2 to 3 more blocks of corn. You gotta control this vine here. Oh, it would have been nice if I could have made all these cucumbers, a cucumber vine. That would have been cool if I could have had my cucumbers grow on this. But you know what? That'll be something for next time. Yeah, next time. it's doing its thing. I just like to see it grow, so we'll just let it do that. I have another ear of corn I'm gonna let dry up and use as seeds. That one is old, so yeah. Tomato plants are not going to be outshined. I kind of like how they're just, they're growing with the vine, and they're like, it's kind of funny. Another tomato there. Oh, look at those. Yeah. To my two customers that came 2 weeks ago, I have tomatoes. Tomatoes are coming in, so I will put those aside for you guys. So I'm excited. Oh, wait a minute, folks. Hang on. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that there. That watermelon, right? Look how beautifully striped that is. A watermelon. I don't know how big they're going to get. Optional sized watermelon. And I have different other sizes too. I have more tomatoes in there too. So we're getting all that tomatoes in, which is good. In the next couple of weeks. But that also means that I need to plant more tomatoes. I definitely want to get some into the ground before August. Since, we're in Texas, you can basically plant year round, here in Texas because the weather's so hot. I got tomatoes late into the season, and I had so many tomatoes that were late in the season. I mean, we had bushels of tomatoes. Like, they didn't want to quit. Even after we had a little bit of a frost, and I plucked some off, still, they were still wanting to produce. And I was like, yeah, that's it. You guys aren't doing it anymore. I had to actually call it. So definitely don't underestimate your tomatoes in this season. It will surprise you. Yeah, more watermelon vines. So definitely we're going to have some late season watermelon and cantaloupe. They are they're out there, and the ginger's doing its thing over there. Too afraid to show you guys my strawberries. I didn't want to show you guys that. It's been an ongoing battle. I'm surprised I still have edamame, my one edamame plant. I planted a pack, and they just, I don't know, man. They didn't come up. We can pull this crabgrass up. We don't want that. Oh my gosh, look at this. Yeah, you don't want stuff like that crowding your garden. But oh, hey, look at this. I was wrong. I do have more edamame. That's nice. So there they are. One did make it. One. So I have two. It's nice to know that they did come up. Sometimes you ignore stuff and they just pop right on up. So maybe, I don't know, I'll look into planting some more soybeans. And go from there. Oh, goodness. I do have a lot of clearing to do. You guys bear with me. Yeah, so far so good. That's all we got going on here. Just going ahead and pulling this up. That's kind of all I got going on. As pretty much my video. That's all I got, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. and I will catch you guys on the flip side. I'm already sweating. It's already crazy here. But yeah, that's enough of my face. I'm going to get to work, and I will catch you guys later. We'll see you later.